Story 1 Karen pretends to be wife of manager, gets caught. Backstory, my dad is the manager of a Swiss chalet boy a voice from our house, so if I have hockey on a certain night, I'll get dropped off at hockey by my mom or dad, then get dropped off by a person on my team. This was one of these nights. Story, the Swiss chalet was pretty empty tonight, so I was seated towards the front of the dining room. An older woman walked in with her son, and already you could tell they were entitled. They demanded to be sat beside me. Not for me, just like the seat, and demanded to be ordered right then and there. They get their food without any problems after asking it to be cooked again, and right before they got the check, I hear this. "There's glass in my food!" Everybody understandably turns around, and a waiter runs over to check on them. Me. Waiter, I saw her put glass in her food. Karen. No, I didn't! Waiter. Now, if he said you put the glass in your food, we can check the security cameras. She turns white as a sheet, and to protect herself, she says, Karen, my husband is the manager here. Give me my money back. Now, this is the kicker. She ate most of her food. This was just an attempt to get a free meal. Me, how are you married to the manager? My dad hasn't gotten divorced yet. She then turns white as a sheet, leaves $70 on the table, and sprints out of there. My dad later told me the meal only costs $30. Story 2. Oh, how do you know my parents? My parents own a bakery here in town. When I was a teen, I worked the counter after school and during summers. I lost count of the amount of people who tried the I know the owner ploy on me. I would always reply by saying, oh, how do you know my dad/mom? If that didn't work, I would then escalate it by saying, there's in the back, let me get them so you two can say hi, whether one of them was there or not. Most people who got to that point mysteriously left by the time I came back up front. Dad got tired of people doing this, so he installed a hidden button under the counter we could hit if he or my mom were there, and they would come up front and I would say, this person says they know you, so they should get a discount or free stuff. Dad has quite the foul mouth on him, and he's prone to unload on the person until they leave, while Mom would just ask them politely to leave and not try to pull that again. A couple of years ago, both me and my brother had other jobs, so we couldn't help out more, so he hired 2 girls to help at the counter. He explained the button that would call him from the back and had my brother and I come in just to confirm that we have told nobody they got discounts or any kind of specials from knowing us. He then told them that I know the saying is the customer is always right, but if they insist on knowing someone here, feel free to curse them out for lying. I don't mind losing customers like that. So one of the girls had someone try to pull it on her, and she just told the lady that she was lying and to please leave the store. The lady decided to double down and started yelling, "Wait until the owner hears about this!" and stormed out. That girl got a bonus in her paycheck that week for not letting it happen to her. My dad never got a call from the customer either. Even my husband, who is sleeping with the daughter of the owner, pays full price when he goes in to get something for himself or for us. If one of my parents are at the front counter, they give it to him for free, but he never asks if they're in the back or says that he knows the owner. Same for me. I never say my parents own the place, and even if the workers at the counter know me, I still pay full price. Story 3. Get me the manager. So, I called myself over. So, many years ago, I was a closing manager at a big chain store in Oregon. I was about 23 at the time, constantly understaffed and stuck with a to-do list a mile long. I worked around 7 days a week and often lost track of time. Also, worth noting, the customer service desk locked up the Oregon lottery scratch tickets at 7 p.m. sharp. That'll matter later. Anyway, I'm in full get everything done before 2 a.m. mode, running between tasks, dropping money orders into the computer for our only manned register, when a woman suddenly stops me in my tracks. She's about 5'2", maybe mid-30s, with her mom and daughter behind her. I'm 6'2", clearly in a rush, but I pause and ask, what can I help you with? Instead of answering, she launches into a rant. I've been waiting forever. This is ridiculous. I'm in a hurry, blah, blah, blah. After a few rounds of vague complaints, I gently try again. What can I help you with now? She finally says she wants some scratch-off tickets. I quickly explain that the locked display case is closed after 7 p.m. for inventory tracking, but that we still have scratch tickets at the register, and everything in the case is available in the vending machine. She turns bright red and snaps, "What do you mean it's locked? You're supposed to sell them whenever you're here." Then came the golden line. Get me your manager. I blink and calmly say, "Ma'am, I am the manager on duty." That case is locked per regulations and won't open again until 9 a.m. She absolutely loses it. If you're really the manager, you should be able to open this store yourself. Just open the case. Still calm, I repeat. Ma'am, I can't unlock it. It's controlled and federally tracked. Everything in there is also in the vending machine. Or you can come back at 9 a.m. She huffs. You're disrespectful. If you were the real manager, you'd help me. Then the cherry on top. Where's your real manager? That's when I look up at the only other person up front. Let's call him Mike. He's been with the company longer than I've been alive. He's watching this unfold with the biggest grin. I lock eyes with Mike, and we both silently agree. It's time. I shout, "Hey, Mike!" He stands tall, hands on his hips like Superman, and booms, "Yes, sir." I go, "Is there any other manager in the store tonight?" Still holding his heroic pose, he replies with a grin, "Only you, sir." I turn back to her, and her face drops. She stammers out the classics. "Well, I never. You'll be in trouble. I'm never shopping here again." And just as they're walking out, the daughter, probably 5 or 6 years old, stops, looks up at me with wide eyes, and says softly, "How rude." Story 4. She tried to return a PS1 that was bought 6 years ago. Back in 2000, I was the manager at an EB Games. It was the peak era of PlayStation 2 hype and Diablo 2 launches. Wild times, honestly. One day, an older woman walked in holding this raggedy old cardboard box. She said she wanted to return a system she'd bought for her son. Apparently, he'd been getting bad grades, and this was his punishment. Seemed intense, but hey, I've seen worse. I opened the box, and it's a beat-up, dusty, Cheeto fingerprint-covered original PlayStation. You know, the one from 1994. At that point, this thing was at least 6 years old and had definitely seen some things. I pause, kind of stunned, and out of curiosity more than anything, ask if she has a receipt. She does. I check it, and sure enough, it's dated sometime in 1994. This thing was ancient. Before I could say anything, she cuts in and goes, "And I'll just take the cash back. That'll be fine." I couldn't help but laugh a little, mistake number one, apparently, and gently explain, "Sorry, I can't return this. It's 6 years old and clearly used." She doesn't even blink. Launches into a full-on story about how she bought it at this very store, how the manager told her she could return it for any reason, how her son's a failure, yada yada yada. A solid 5 minutes of monologue. When she's done, I calmly flip the receipt over and read the store policy. 30 days for unopened merchandise. She explodes. I genuinely start thinking about calling mall security. She's yelling about how rude I am, how she wants her money, and how she wants to speak to the manager. So I just point to my name tag and say, "Ma'am, I am the manager, and there's no way on earth I'm returning a used, dirty 6-year-old PlayStation." She stared at me, fuming. I even offered to buy the PS1 from her, maybe $40 in trade-in value, but she refused, muttered a few choice words under her breath, and stormed out. Never saw her again. Absolutely glorious. Story 5. He demanded a refund for a tank I warned him about. I'm the manager. I used to manage a vape shop, and let me tell you, the cheap customers were always the worst. Entitled, loud, and somehow always shocked when their bargain hunting blew up in their face. One guy walked in looking for a tank. I showed him 3 solid options, reliable, good quality, well-reviewed. He immediately scoffed. "Too expensive." Okay, fine. He points at a dusty box on our discount wall, a tank that's easily 4 years old, one of the first-generation models from when vaping was still finding its footing. So I'm completely upfront with him. "Sir, yes, it's cheap, but I'm telling you now, it's not a great tank. It's outdated, has issues, and I don't recommend it." He waves me off and insists on buying it. Fine. But I make sure to clearly explain our policy. "Just so you know, we don't accept returns on tanks. If you don't like it, we can't take it back." He agrees, pays, and leaves. 3 days later, he comes back, fuming, starts yelling about how I sold him a defective tank and how it doesn't work right. I calmly respond, "Yes, sir, I did sell it to you, but I also warned you it wasn't good. You chose to buy it anyway, and we don't take tanks back." That's when he loses it. Full-on meltdown, cussing, yelling, demanding to speak to the manager. So I nod and say, "Okay, one moment." I walk back to the office, grab a sip of water, and walk right back out. Same shirt, same name tag. "I heard you needed a manager?" The look on his face was priceless. "Give me a different manager." I smile and say, "Sir, I'm the only manager. And now you need to leave. You're no longer welcome in this store." Yes, there were higher-ups, a district manager, a regional manager, but they gave me full authority on customer behavior. They would have backed me 100%. As he stomped toward the door, he barked, "You haven't seen the last of me." I didn't miss a beat. "That's fine. The police station's just 400 yards down the street. If I do see you again, I'll call them." He never came back. Some people just hate hearing, "I told you so." Story 6. You're not the manager. Actually, I am. Welcome to retail. One of my jobs is in retail, and recently they rolled out new wage guidelines. They got rid of a few levels of low-level management, bumped up cashier responsibilities. We now handle things like price matching and judgment calls, and gave us a small raise. They also cut our hours, but that's another story. Anyway, I was working the floor when I noticed another cashier's light flashing, meaning they needed help. I had just finished my own transaction, so I turned my light off and walked over to assist. The customer at their register was trying to price match tubs of baby cream, normally $15.99, to 79 cents. She had a Walmart product page pulled up on her phone claiming that was the current price, but she wouldn't let us scroll or inspect the page closely, two things we're trained to do to help identify fake screenshots or scam websites. So I pulled out our store's price match device and scanned the product. The price came up as $15.99 on Walmart's actual site. I showed her and calmly explained that I couldn't price match that low. She immediately told me I was doing it wrong and began instructing me on how to use the scanner. I humored her, followed her steps, and, surprise, still $15.99. Then she said, "That's what they're selling it for in store," which made me pause. If Walmart is 5 minutes away and really selling it for under $1, why wouldn't she just buy it there? I politely told her we couldn't match that price and explained it was against store policy. That's when she demanded to see my manager. I smiled and replied, "Actually, all cashiers are now supervisors, and I'm just following policy." She doubled down and said we do this kind of thing for her all the time, and that she does this for a living. Then realized she may have said too much and tried to walk it back. I gave her my sweetest smile and asked, "Would you like to purchase the cream, or should I void it?" She huffed and told me to void everything. I did. As she left, the cashier I helped turned to me and said, "Thank you." She was brand new, first night flying solo on register, and that was her first customer. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed hearing about these wild customer stories, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Got a crazy retail or customer story of your own? Drop it down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you've been through. And if you want, let me know what kind of stories or topics you want me to cover next. Catch you in the next video.